Hello and welcome back to Talk English Now. I'm Sarah, and today we're going to talk about how to sound more natural and confident when you speak English. Have you ever heard someone speak English and thought, wow, they sound like a native speaker? Maybe you wondered, how can I sound like that? How can I make my English feel smoother, more natural, more effortless? Today, I'll guide you through 25 natural phrases that native speakers use all the time. Phrases you can start using in your daily English, too. Speaking naturally in English doesn't mean using complicated words or long sentences. It's about rhythm, about tone, and especially about the little expressions we use in real life, at home, at work, at the cafe, or on the phone. These phrases help you connect, express emotions, and sound more like yourself in English. Let's begin with something simple but powerful. Greetings. Sometimes learners say, "Hello, how are you?" And while that's fine, native speakers often say things like, "Hey, how's it going?" or "What's up?" Now you repeat, "Hey, how's it going?" Good. Say it with me again. Hey, how's it going? These phrases sound casual, friendly, and very common in daily conversation. Let's imagine a short scene. You walk into a coffee shop and your coworker is there. You smile and say, "Hey, how's it going?" Your coworker smiles back and says, "Not bad, just grabbing some coffee. You?" This kind of interaction feels light and comfortable, not robotic or rehearsed. Here's another greeting. Long time no see. This one is great when you haven't seen someone for a while. Let's try it. Say it with me. Long time no see. Great. Can you think of someone you haven't seen in a while? Imagine saying that to them next time you meet. Now let's move to a few phrases that express agreement or interest. Native speakers often say, "Totally," "For sure," or "I know, right?" These phrases show that you're listening, that you get it, that you're emotionally connected to the moment. Try this with me. Totally. Again. I know, right? One more. For sure. Here's a simple real-life scene. Your friend says, "That movie was so emotional." You smile and respond, "I know, right? I almost cried." See how natural and connected that feels? Sometimes learners hesitate when they agree or don't know what to say, but with phrases like these, your responses become automatic, native, warm. Now let's talk about offering help or kindness. We often say things like, "Need a hand?" or "Want me to take care of it?" These are gentle, natural offers, much more casual than textbook lines. Say it with me. Need a hand? Again. Want me to take care of it? Imagine this. A colleague is carrying a heavy box and you walk by. Instead of saying, "May I help you?" you say, "Need a hand?" It feels relaxed, kind, native. These tiny changes build your fluency one moment at a time. Sometimes things go wrong, and you want to apologize naturally. Native speakers often say, "My bad," or "Sorry about that." These are soft, humble phrases that help fix small mistakes. Repeat after me. My bad. Sorry about that. Here's a real-life example. You accidentally bump into someone in the hallway. You pause and say, "Oh, my bad." They nod, smile, and keep walking. No stress, no awkwardness, just smooth interaction. Let's take a small moment here. How are you feeling so far? Which phrase surprised you today? Which one do you want to try using this week? Learning natural phrases is like learning to dance. At first, you follow the steps carefully, but soon you start to move with your own rhythm. Now, let's look at phrases for small talk, those little conversations that make life warmer and more human. Native speakers often say, "Can't complain," when someone asks how they're doing, or "Not much," when asked what's new. Try these with me. Can't complain. Not much. Picture this. You run into a neighbor. They ask, "How's everything?" And you smile and say, "Can't complain." It's not too personal, but it's friendly, and it keeps the connection going. All right, let's pause for a moment. If you're enjoying this lesson, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more daily English practice. Your support helps us keep creating these lessons just for you. Ready to continue? Let's go. Now, let's explore how native speakers express surprise or interest. Instead of saying, "Really?" every time, we use phrases like, "No way," or "You're kidding," or "Seriously?" Say it with me. No way. You're kidding. Seriously? Let's imagine this. Your friend says, "I met the singer from that band last night." You respond with, "No way. Seriously?" That sounds alive, real, human. Now let's talk about time. Native speakers often say, "Right on time," "running late," or "let's call it a day." Repeat after me. Running late. Right on time. Let's call it a day. Here's a scene. You're finishing work and your teammate says, "We've done enough." You smile and say, "Yeah, let's call it a day." Natural, smooth, respectful. If you've ever felt like your English sounds stiff, these expressions are your tools to loosen up, like oil in a machine. They help you flow. Let's do a little exercise now. Pick one phrase from today that you haven't used before. Say it with me slowly. Now again, a bit faster. Now, try saying it in a sentence about your life. For example, if you choose "my bad," you could say, "My bad, I forgot to send that email." You're not just me, memorizing words. You're practicing the music of English, the tone, the pauses, the feeling. Let's continue with a few phrases that help you ask for clarification or show confusion in a natural way. Native speakers often say, "Come again," or "What was that?" or "I didn't catch that." Say these with me. Come again. What was that? I didn't catch that. Imagine you're on the phone and someone speaks too quickly. Instead of saying, "Repeat, please," you gently say, "Sorry, I didn't catch that." This keeps the conversation polite and friendly. Language is not just about words. It's about connection, energy, emotion. Each phrase you learn brings you closer to sounding like a native speaker and feeling like one too. Let's add one more metaphor here. Learning English is like building a house. Every phrase you learn is a brick. Every practice session is a drop of paint. One day, you'll step back and see the beautiful home you've built, a place where your thoughts live in English. So let's keep building. You're doing beautifully so far. Now, let's continue exploring more phrases that help you sound like a native speaker. In the last part, we practiced greetings, responses, and small talk. This time, we'll move deeper into those everyday moments where natural English really shines. Let's talk about how native speakers show surprise or emotion in real conversations. Instead of always saying, "Really?" or "Wow," which can start to feel a bit repetitive, we often say things like, "No way," "You're kidding," or "Get out of here." Let's try it together. Say, "No way." Again, A little more relaxed. No way. Now say, you're kidding. And now, get out of here. It doesn't literally mean someone has to leave. It's just a fun, expressive way to say, I can't believe that. Here's a simple, real-life moment. Your friend says, I just won free concert tickets. You say, no way, that's awesome. That tiny phrase adds so much personality and shows you're truly engaged in the conversation. Many learners tell me they feel awkward showing emotion in English. But remember, these phrases are like color in your speech. Without them, English can feel flat. With them, it comes alive. Let's move into phrases you can use when something goes wrong. Because in daily life, small mistakes happen all the time. Native speakers often say, oops, my bad, or sorry about that. Say it with me. Oops, my bad. Sorry about that. These phrases are soft, gentle, and easy to use. Imagine you bump someone's bag in the hallway. You say, oops, sorry about that. The moment passes smoothly, and you both move on. Now, sometimes you want to agree with someone in a natural, flowing way. Instead of always saying, yes, or I agree, we often say, for sure, totally, or I hear you. Let's say these together. For sure, totally, I hear you. These responses feel supportive and real, like you're not just answering, you're connecting. Imagine you're talking with a coworker and they say, this project is taking forever. You respond with a smile. I know, right? Totally. That feels like native conversation, not stiff or overly formal, just smooth. Now, let's look at how we politely decline or say no in a kind way. Instead of just saying, no, or I can't, we often say, I'd love to, but, or I wish I could, or maybe next time. Say them with me. I'd love to, but I wish I could. Maybe next time. These expressions help you stay kind while being honest. Imagine someone invites you out, but you're already busy. You say, I'd love to, but I've got plans tonight. Maybe next time? That feels warm and respectful, and it keeps the connection open. Let's pause her. And reflect. Which of these expressions do you already use sometimes? Which ones feel new or interesting? Which one would you like to try using this week in your conversations? Remember, learning to speak like a native isn't about memorizing a script. It's about finding your voice in English and using phrases that reflect your feelings, your thoughts, your style. Let's now explore how native speakers offer help or kindness. Instead of saying, "Can I help you?" which can feel a little formal, we often say things like, "Want a hand?" or "Need anything?" or "Let me know if you need anything." Repeat after me. Want a hand? Need anything? Let me know if you need anything. These phrases are useful in so many situations. At work, at home, even with friends. Imagine someone is setting up for a small event and you say, "Need a hand with that?" It sounds friendly, relaxed, helpful. Now, let's practice how to ask for clarification or repetition without sounding robotic. Instead of saying, "Repeat, please," you can say, "What was that?" Or, "Could you say that again?" Or, "Sorry, I didn't catch that." Say them with me now. What was that? Could you say that again? Sorry, I didn't catch that. These are especially useful in real life, when there's background noise or when someone speaks fast. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep the flow going. Let's imagine a scene. You're in a cafe, and the barista says something too quickly. You gently say, "Sorry, I didn't catch that." One more time. That small moment helps you stay calm and confident. Sometimes you want to say something, but you need a second to think. Native speakers often use filler phrases like, "Let me think." "That's a good question." Or, not sure." Let's practice together. Let me think. That is a good question. Not sure. These give you space to breathe, to choose your words, to slow down without breaking the conversation. Think of these fillers like the soft sand between stepping stones. They let you walk through the conversation without falling into silence. Now, I'd love to offer a little speaking practice. Try to imagine a situation from your life, a moment when you could use one of these phrases. Maybe when you helped someone, or when you didn't understand something, or when you politely said no. Now say the phrase out loud. Put it into a sentence, and if you can, say it twice. Once slowly, once a little faster. Here's one. "Sorry, I didn't catch that." Now use it. "Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat it?" Now a different one. "Want a hand with that?" Again. "Hey, want a hand with that?" This is how fluency builds, not by rushing, but by layering. You listen, you repeat, you personalize. Let's talk briefly about the technique of sentence chunking. In native English, we don't speak word by word. We speak in little chunks, small groups of meaning. Let's try a sentence. "I should get going, but let's catch up soon." Say it like music, not a robot. Let's do one more. "To be honest, I didn't see that coming." Feel the rhythm? That's native English flow. When you chunk, your sentences sound more confident, more connected, and more real. Let's end this part with a short reflection. Which phrases today made you smile? Which one felt a little awkward, but exciting to try? Which one do you want to use in your next English conversation? Remember, learning these natural phrases is like learning to ride a bicycle. At first it feels shaky, but with time it becomes smooth, steady, and even fun. Welcome back. You're doing so well. Let's keep moving through more natural English expressions. These are the phrases that native speakers use without even thinking. And soon you will, too. Let's talk about how we respond when something is uncertain or we don't want to give a strong opinion. Native speakers often use gentle phrases like "could be," "maybe," or "I guess so." Let's say them together now. Could be, maybe, I guess so. Here's a little scene to picture. You're talking to a friend about tomorrow's weather. They say, "Do you think it'll rain?" You respond, "Could be. Hard to tell." It's short, it's casual, and it keeps the conversation light. Now let's add a few phrases for making suggestions. In textbooks, you might learn, "You should," but in real life, we often soften that with, "How about, why don't we," or "wanna try." Repeat after me. How about, "Why don't we, wanna try?" Imagine you're out with a friend deciding where to eat. You say, "How about Thai food tonight?" It's smooth, friendly, and gives space for the other person to respond. These soft suggestions are part of what makes spoken English feel cooperative, like a conversation, not a command. Sometimes we want to describe something quickly. Native speakers often use expressions like kind of, sort of, or a bit. Say them with me. Kind of, sort of, a bit. Here's a moment. Your coworker asks, "Did you like that movie?" You say, "Sort of. It was a bit slow, but the ending was great." That's real conversation, not black or white, but natural, layered responses. Now let's switch gears a little and talk about how to express excitement, happiness, or approval. Native speakers use phrases like, "That's amazing," "So cool," "I love that," or even just, "Yes," with extra emphasis. Let's try them. "That's amazing." "So cool." "I love that." "Yes." Your friend says they got a promotion and you say, "That's amazing. I'm so happy fun." Or you. You're showing real joy in English, and that's just as important as grammar. Speaking of emotions, sometimes we want to comfort someone or respond to a sad moment in a kind, gentle way. Instead of saying something stiff like, "That is unfortunate," we often say, "That sucks," "I'm so sorry," or "That's tough." Repeat after me, "That sucks." "I'm so sorry." "That's tough." These may sound simple, but they're powerful tools for empathy. Imagine a friend tells you they lost their wallet. You don't need long explanations, just a kind, "That sucks. I'm so sorry that happened." And you've already helped them feel heard. Let's reflect here for a moment. Which one of these emotional responses do you already feel comfortable using? Which one feels new but meaningful to you? Keep practicing the ones that feel real. They'll become part of your English personality. Now let's talk about transitions. How do native speakers change the subject smoothly? We often use phrases like, "By the way," "Speaking of that," or "Oh, that reminds me." Say them with me. By the way. Speaking of that. Oh, that reminds me. These are useful for shifting topics gently. Imagine this moment. You're chatting with a colleague about lunch and then you say, "By the way, have you seen the new schedule?" That small phrase makes the transition sound natural and connected. You can practice this at home. Pick 2 topics, like food and work, and practice changing from one to the other using, "Speaking of that." Now here's a powerful one. Ending a conversation politely. Instead of just walking away or saying goodbye, we often say, "Anyway, I should let you go," or, "Well, I'd better get going." Repeat after me. "Anyway, I should let you go. I'd better get going." Let's imagine this. You've been chatting with someone outside the store. You smile and say, "Anyway, I should let you go. Let's catch up soon." That leaves a kind, thoughtful final impression. You may have noticed, many of these phrases are short, but they carry energy. They show emotion, connection, thoughtfulness. And that's what makes speech feel truly native. Let's do a short practice now. I'll give you a sentence, and I want you to say it out loud. First repeating me, then trying it on your own. Here we go. That's a good question. Let me think. Now you repeat. Again. I'd love to, but I already have plans. Say it with me. Then again on your own. One more. I should let you go. Talk to you later. Try it slowly, then a bit faster. When you do this kind of focused repetition, especially with natural rhythm, you build speaking fluency that lasts. Here's something fun you can do today. Pick 5 of your favorite phrases from this lesson and record a short voice memo using all 5 in a little story or scene. It can be something from your day or something you imagine. The goal is to use them in your voice, your way. Here's an example. I ran into my neighbor at the store. Long time no see. We chatted a bit, then I said, "Anyway, I should let you go." She smiled and said, "Let's catch up soon." That little moment uses 4 phrases. and it sounds warm and real. The more you build these small speaking habits, the more you become someone who doesn't just learn English, you live in it. Let's take a deep breath together and smile. Because this is where change happens, not in textbooks, but in tiny human moments like these. If you're ever feeling frustrated, remind yourself, learning to speak naturally is like learning to swim in a new current. At first, you're figuring out the rhythm. Then, little by little, you find your flow. And one day, you realize you're gliding. You're doing something beautiful here, something real. So be kind to yourself as you keep practicing. And when you're ready, I'll meet you in the final part of this lesson, where we'll wrap everything together with warmth, motivation, and a few last powerful phrases. You've made it to the final part of today's lesson, and I want to take a moment to say, well done. You've shown up, stayed present, and practiced with heart. That's what real progress looks like. Before we wrap up, I'd love to give you just a few more phrases that can bring life into your English every single day. Native speakers love little phrases that show active listening and connection. Things like, tell me more, I know what you mean, or been there. These short, kind responses let the other person know, I hear you, I see you, I get it. Say these with me now. Tell me more. I know what you mean. Been there. Imagine this. A friend shares something a little difficult about their job. You lean in and say, been there. That sounds tough. You've just shown empathy in only 6 words. That's the beauty of natural English. Now let's reflect. Which phrase from today's lesson felt most natural on your tongue? Which one made you pause and think, I'd like to try that? Which phrase do you want to practice this week in real conversations, messages, or even in your thoughts? You don't have to memorize them all at once. Start with the ones that speak to you. Let them become part of your daily rhythm. And remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's connection. Real English is full of pauses, missteps, laughter, and little mistakes. That's what makes it human. Learning to speak like a native is not about copying every word. It's about feeling confident in your skin, in your voice, in your story. You've added 25 new tools to your English toolbox today. Use them with curiosity, use them with courage, and use them in your own way. Try this after the lesson ends. Stand in front of a mirror, pick your favorite phrase from today, and say it out loud, like you mean it. Do it 5 times. Not just to remember it, but to feel it. And when you're ready, try it in the real world, in a cafe, at work, with a friend, and see how it transforms your confidence. Thank you for being here with me today. It's a joy to help you grow, one phrase, one step, one beautiful sentence at a time. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss future lessons. And always remember, you are capable, you are improving, and you are speaking more like a native every single day. Take care, and I'll see you in the next lesson.